Welcome back to Las Vegas Diaries. I'm Kelly O. I had the pleasure of working with my next guest back when I was a swing at Fantasy. She is not only a featured dancer at Fantasy, she is also currently the company manager and associate producer. Mariah Rivera is not only stunningly beautiful and a talented dancer, singer, and model, she also happens to be remarkably down to earth. It might have something to do with the fact that she grew up on a farm in Colorado. Before we move on to the interview, if you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Las Vegas Diaries content. Now, without further ado, my interview with Mariah Rivera. Welcome back to Las Vegas Diaries. I'm with my guest, Mariah Rivera. Hi, Mariah. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, Kelly. I'm so excited to see your beautiful face.
I first met Mariah working at Fantasy several years ago. She is currently the company manager, associate producer, and one of the stars of Fantasy, of course, as well as being a Vegas showgirl and doing all of the things. So my first question for you, Mariah, is how did you get your start dancing? What was your upbringing, your dance training, and how did you end up in Las Vegas?
Well, I think like most dancers, I started taking dance lessons when I was about 2.5, 3 years old. My mom put me in tap, ballet, and jazz because I just had too much energy and she just had to do something with me. And as soon as I took my first lesson, I was that girl in class, the teeny tiny little one that always knew what to do. They would force me to be the leader. I have these videos I have to have my mom have it. Like I'm literally the only one that knows the dance, and I'm in the very front dancing in front of everybody, and no one else knows the dance besides me. And that was literally at 3 or 4 years old. So I've just always really loved performing, always loved dancing. And I danced pretty much up until I was about 13 years old, taking jazz, tap, ballet every day for all of those years. And then I kind of transitioned into playing sports. My dad was a basketball coach, so I kind of focused on that. So all through high school, volleyball, ran track, was a state champion bodybuilder. I wanted to go to college for basketball. I had a bunch of scholarships to play in college, and I ended up breaking my ankle. And kind of just at that perfect time when the college scouts were recruiting, and kind of just missed my window for it. And the universe was like, no, I just didn't feel right. So my mom, had just graduated from high school, kind of had recovering from my broken ankle, and was really starting to get depressed from not performing and not really doing anything. So my mom kind of just pushed me with 2 hands out the door and said, "You're just such a fabulous little dancer. Go be a Las Vegas showgirl." And it's like, "No, Mom, don't make me be a showgirl." And she said, "Come out for 3 months, and if you love it, then you'll stay. If not, come back to Grand Junction and we'll put you in college." Turns out I ended up booking my first job and never left. I just left Las Vegas after that. So
that is so funny that your mom. It was one of my guests, Brittany. It was her dad and her grandmother. It's so funny that's your mom. And actually, Brittany's dad was also a basketball coach, so that's really funny. But I think you said you were also a bodybuilder, like champion bodybuilder. What did you do?
Yeah, I was a state champion my junior year in high school, bodybuilder. I still try to work out every day, but I'm definitely not as disciplined as it takes to be a bodybuilder these days. But it was definitely one of my favorite memories growing up.
That's amazing. And obviously you have an amazing body, so no one's surprised, but that is really interesting. So tell me about your dance career from when your mom pushed you out the door and sent you to be a Vegas showgirl to where you are now. Can you kind of walk us through?
So when I moved to Las Vegas, I think it was the summer of '03, I literally had no idea what I was doing. I just came straight off from the farm, Grand Junction, Colorado, hadn't really danced, hadn't taken a dance class in years, had no idea what fishnets were. No, I didn't wear makeup at all. Had no idea. So I would just get, I don't know if you remember the Callback. It was a magazine where they just had before the internet, all of their auditions listed. So I literally someone told me to go get one of those at one of the dance stores. So I was actually staying with my dance teacher's daughter, who ended up being one of my very good friends. She kind of helped me walk through it. She was in Follies. She was like 6'2", and I'm 5'6". So we were kind of, she tried to help me be a showgirl. I just wasn't quite tall enough. But I went to every single audition, mortified myself at every single audition. So I would show up to an audition, and everyone was wearing hip hop clothes and their hair down. So then, okay, that's what I do. And so then the next audition I went in, hip hop clothes, and then everyone was in like tight buns and, G-strings. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's what I do. And then I'd go to the next one and I couldn't get it right. So I just figured out I'm just going to carry everything in my bag, everything in my trunk, and just sit there and be the first one in my car, just watching everyone walk in. And then when everyone was walking in their clothes, then I'd be like, okay, this is that kind of audition. And just like trial and error, figured it out. I probably auditioned for 20 things in that summer. Didn't get anything, just embarrassed myself completely. And I called my mom. I was like, there's one more audition that I'm just going to try to go to. And if not, I'll just come back and I'll just go to college in Colorado and that'll be it. And that was actually the first show that I ended up booking. It was Show in the Sky at the Rio. So I just, thank God.
I remember Show in the Sky. And actually, so you gave some really great advice, and I've touched on this before to aspiring dancers, to always bring more changes of clothes, more shoes, everything, especially if it's not clear what they're looking for, they haven't told you what to wear to the audition. You gave some really great advice. I wanted to ask you about this whole showgirl thing, because I've gotten lots of questions about what is a showgirl, and I think that that's actually really hard to define. And you mentioned that at 5'6", you were a little bit too short to, I'm assuming, book Follies and Jubilee and those types of shows.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people would consider Fantasy to be a showgirl show. So I guess what is your definition of a showgirl? This is kind of a question.
I think throughout my time in Las Vegas, the definition has definitely changed. When I came in, kind of like '04 till probably like 2010, it was very strict. Like there was just, I don't know what people were feeding these gorgeous tall models, but like everyone was drinking their milk and they were all over 6 feet and everyone was gorgeous and everyone could dance. So they really had and I'm sure those people are still around, but just the pick of the litter of what anybody. So they, I heard horror stories. I actually never auditioned for Jubilee because they had a ruler, and if you walk in and if you weren't tall enough, and I knew I wasn't, I think it was 5'8" at the time, I wasn't tall enough, so I definitely didn't go to that. So I thought I wasn't going to get anything in town. I thought I wasn't a showgirl. I thought I wasn't a model. I had no idea what it was. So I think I kind of forged my own path in Las Vegas on what a Las Vegas showgirl is. And then I just started showing up to every single audition, trying to figure out that Las Vegas style, what they were looking for. That, I have a really long torso and shorter legs. So I had to learn how to like accentuate my legs and be like, no, I'm really this tall, and, kind of like deceiving people. It's like a magic trick, appearing to dance tall and be tall. And that's a huge skill that I've learned, that I know a lot of shorter Las Vegas showgirls have learned throughout time. I think the definition of a Las Vegas showgirl is confident, amazing dancer, great legs, great feet, and really just owning your sexiness and your appeal, no matter your height. I think that will make you successful in Las Vegas and in life.
I love that explanation, and I would agree. I think that the height thing has definitely changed, and what a showgirl has changed over the years, and who even knows anymore. But you also mentioned that you are from Colorado. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes.
And I understand you are a big Denver Broncos fan.
Huge. I think I'm the hugest Denver Bronco fan ever. I have pictures when I was born. I was born in October, which is obviously during football season, of me, and I'm like 2 days old in a Denver Broncos jersey. It's just part of who I am, my family. Every single Sunday, no matter what's going on in our life, every single Sunday, my parents had people over to their house to watch the games. It's kind of just like our religion, our life. It's just a huge part of who I am, and I'll kill anybody that they're not a Denver Bronco fan. I will change their mind.
I've noticed that you have quite a big social media following on Instagram and TikTok and all that, Facebook. And I've noticed you've posted quite a few Denver Broncos fan photos, which is awesome. But my question for you is, what do you think about the Raiders coming to Las Vegas? And how do you think that's going to change the city?
As a Denver Bronco fan, I absolutely hate the Raiders. That's like our biggest rival. I've always hated them. I happened to have married a man that loves the Raiders. So I kind of had already had a love-hate relationship with the Raiders. Like, especially if they're playing Denver, obviously I want them to lose. But he's in a much better mood when the Raiders win. So I secretly, don't tell anybody in Colorado, been a Raiders fan since I married my husband. Not more than a Bronco fan, but I also just love the NFL. I play fantasy football, so I am so excited for Las Vegas to get well, really any sports. It started with hockey, and I cannot wait for the Las Vegas Raiders to come. I would love season tickets. I would love to see any game, but I'm just putting it out into the universe that if I'm not at the first Denver Broncos Raiders game, I think I will cry the entire day and maybe even the whole year.
I'm sure you will be. And for anyone that has the Allegiant Stadium, it's really, really impressive. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. So my next question for you, basically just want to get back to your career. And you've been at Fantasy. You're now an integral part of Fantasy. You're telling me you are the company manager as well as the associate producer.
Associate producer, yes, that's correct.
So tell us about what like, as well as dancing in the show. I'm assuming 5, 6, 7 nights a week. What does that entail? What are your duties? What all the balls that you have to juggle to fit those different roles?
Well, I've been at Fantasy, I think 11 years now. I started out as a swing dancer. For anybody that doesn't know, that means I didn't have a full-time spot. I kind of, whenever someone calls out or anything, that I just kind of started as kind of on-call swing, and I did that for about a year and kind of just kept moving up. And, when someone else would leave or get pregnant or get hurt or find another job, I would kind of just, submit my toe in a little bit more with Fantasy. And I've done so many fabulous shows in Las Vegas, but Fantasy was always kind of the, my dream job. Like I would drive past the billboards and be like, oh, I just want to be one of those girls so much. So when I auditioned, I had no idea I would be staying this long. And that's really a testament to our producer, Anita Mann. She really is just a really amazing female boss to work for, and a reason why all the girls stay there so long. But she's been fortunate enough to teach me the way. So I started, then kind of just moved to a full-time dancer. Our dance captain and company manager ended up getting pregnant. So I kind of filled in for her a little bit, and kind of through the course of that, just kept climbing the ladder. And this past year, I got a promotion to associate producer, which company manager means pretty much anything that doesn't happen on stage dance-wise. The dance captain takes care of the 5, 6, 7, 8s, and pretty much everything else that happens in Las Vegas is kind of my responsibility. Our producer lives in California, so I'm kind of her eyes and ears to everything that's happening nightly in Vegas. And, between scheduling, payroll, petty cash, customer complaints, making sure all the girls are happy, making sure all the cast and everything, the crew, kind of just the mama bear of Fantasy.
It's a lot of
nice
work. That's
It is, but I love it. I grew up on a farm, so I'm used to working really hard, and this quarantine is absolutely killing me because I'm losing my mind being not being useful. But I really love it. And they say, what is that saying? When you find something you love, you never work a day in your life. And I really feel like that with Fantasy, and I'm just so fortunate and lucky to be able to do it. And I pray that I can do it as long, like they say, find a job that you love and you never work a day in your life. And I really feel that lucky and fortunate to be at Fantasy, and I just love it so much. So I really don't feel like it's work that much. And I love the girls in the cast; they're just like family to me. So I just pray that I can do it as long as I can, and knock on wood, everything comes back to normal in Las Vegas, and I get to be a part of the entertainment history here in Las Vegas forever.
That well said, and Fantasy is a great show and a fun place to work, so I definitely agree. You mentioned that your first show was Show in the Sky. What other shows did you do in Las Vegas besides Fantasy?
Oh, I was going to print my resume because I knew you were going to ask that, because you've been here. When you live in Las Vegas, you get so many opportunities to do so many amazing shows. So for about the first, I'll say 7 years of living in Las Vegas, there were so many shows. So every 6 months I would change shows. So I did Show in the Sky. I did a contract in China with Akina Yala doing a magic show. Then I came back. I did a bunch of little magic shows around town. I did Erotica at the Rio. I was down in Laughlin for a year. I did Rhinestone Cowgirls with Greg Thompson, Showgirls. I worked with Greg Thompson for a few years. another fabulous producer that I was very fortunate to work for. I did Rhinestone no, I did. Worked out in Prim with Michael Chambers. I did Sin City Kitties, and I've just really, really been fortunate to do so many amazing shows and work with so many amazing dancers that I forget what's around. I must be getting old.
No, you've had a really impressive career, and Fantasy is a great place to be. So, and congrats on the associate producer position. That's really amazing. I mean, are you hoping to maybe parlay that position someday into being a producer of your own projects, or do you have any plans for that?
I do have some ideas and some personal stuff that I'm working for, but I went to school for accounting and marketing at UNLV. So that's kind of my business background. I really enjoy the business side of dancing. But especially for all dancers, like I don't ever want to take myself off stage. Like it's just, there's nothing you can recreate about that high about being on stage until my body tells me you're done. I want to continue to just perform as long as I can. So in the meantime, I try to, learn as much as I can about the business, trying to just take in everything that I see. I'm kind of just like a sit back and watcher. I just watch, how other shows operate and just kind of just mentally just like put all those things in my head to make me a better human, one, and manager, and keep opportunities open for the future for myself, which I have no idea. I think it's a really weird time in the world with the pandemic, and I'm really, really open to the universe and whatever it has for me. I try never to, put myself in one thing, and just kind of always keep an ear out and just kind of listen to, my inner self and where the stars tell me that I'm supposed to go. So I'm definitely in that listening phase right now in my life, and just trying to really reflect on what will make me happy work-wise, and also just, which path I'm supposed to be taking.
Got it. Well, that's awesome and exciting. I just want to ask you one last question about Fantasy. So if anyone out there is a fan of Fantasy, they know that the yearly Fantasy calendar is a really big deal. And you've been there for 11 years. You said you've been a part of quite a few calendars. Can you talk to our viewers a little bit about what the process is like, shooting the calendar and having in the red carpet event that Fantasy does?
It's definitely the most exciting time of the year for Fantasy. I think that was my biggest draw, that I wanted to be in Fantasy. Like, they put so much into the marketing and planning for this calendar. It gives each girl like kind of their own little celebrity status within Fantasy, but then also within the town. So I think coming into Fantasy and being on the billboard, that's one of the things that our producer is so amazing about. And I just was so excited to shoot the first calendar. I mean, there is expenses being on the associate producer side, but it just seems like they spare no expense. They just, it's just the most fabulous destinations, locations, costumes, jewelry, photographers. We've worked with some of the most world-renowned photographers in all the world. And so each calendar kind of has its own theme. And we usually shoot that during the summer, which is always really exciting. And then usually in November or October, we always have our anniversary party. So that's when we release our calendar. We do a big press night. We get to debut our calendar. We have, a big party before. We invite all of our friends, all of the media, and it's kind of that, introduction into the next year. It's really exciting. It's what everyone looks forward to. The stories that come out of those nights and all of the calendar process are stories that live on in Fantasy forever. And it's just really, really cool to be a part of that process.
The calendars always come out amazing, and it's always fun. I think all of Vegas waits in anticipation for the Fantasy calendar.
I know I do. I'm glad to see Las Vegas does. Hopefully after quarantine, they'll all be very excited and ready.
Okay, my last question for you is, what advice do you have for aspiring dancers, and specifically dancers that like to work in Las Vegas?
The best advice I could give is just try everything. Don't tell yourself no before you get to the audition. Like, if, they say they're looking for blondes that are, 5'2", and you're a brunette that's 6 foot, just still go. I feel like so many producers in different shows, what they're looking for until they see it. And even though, even if they say it's something, I mean, I've been to castings before where they said, you know, they're looking for something completely not me, and they, you know, either fall in love with me or fall in love with my friend if I'm perfect, and they fall in love with my friend that's somebody else. So you just really never know. And then every single audition I've gone to, even if I haven't gotten the job, something great has come out of it. Like, just, I feel like the energy that I put into going, the universe rewards me. I either, you know, find a friend that I've, you know, one of my very, very best friends for the last 15 years. I met at my very first audition here in Las Vegas, and she helped me get my first job, which was Show in the Sky. And I met her just at an audition. And if I hadn't gone to that audition, I would have never met her. And then you hear so much at the audition process. Like, just people are like, oh, are you going to this audition tomorrow? Just kind of that insider information. And so my best everything, try everything, and don't tell yourself no. Let the casting directors tell you no. Don't self-sabotage yourself and into not going.
That is really great advice. And I want a follow-up question on that, because you have such a great attitude about that. And you said that you would just put yourself out there. What advice do you have for people when they get rejected so that they stay motivated to keep going to auditions?
Just forget about the rejection. Remember the process. Like, I would literally embarrass myself at all these auditions. And what I would try to take from every audition that I failed at was, what can I learn? Like, what, you know, I feel like I can always learn something at anything, really. Like, you know, even social media, you put a post out and you think that people really like it, and like, oh, I love that. You know, my TikTok is hilarious, and just kind of trial and error, and just learn something from it. And don't let the negativity or anything in your head just enjoy the process, just enjoy the journey, and you'll end up okay.
Love it. You just mentioned TikTok. Where can people find you on social media?
I love social media. I went to school for marketing, so I kind of started all of my accounts as just kind of a joke and I'm very competitive. So I'm like, you know, I wonder if I can get 200 followers this week, and then it just kind of snowballed into what I have now. And I'm just really lucky that I have so many, you know, people that follow me and actually watch and want to know what I'm up to. But on Instagram, I'm actually, all of my social media platforms are at Mariah_Rivera 1. So on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think that's it.
Got it. And
FantasyLuxor.com.
all of those will be in the description box below, of course. Mariah, thank you so much for coming on Las Vegas Diaries. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you, Kelly. I love and miss you.
Thank you. Bye. Love you.
Bye. Bye, Las Vegas. Miss you too.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with Mariah. Don't forget, I will be linking all of her social media links in the description box below. And if you would like to ask questions for my future interviews with my future guests, don't forget to head over to my social media links, which I will also put below. You'll be able to see my future guests there, and if you leave a comment or send me a DM with any questions that you have for my guests, I'll be happy to include them in my interviews with them. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, you can really help my channel grow if you share this video with anyone you think might find it interesting. See you in the next video.